Hey guys, Noah here. I've been filming these kind of late. Tonight's kind of not really an exception to that. It's, I guess, 12. Um, so I was right about kind of cycling and starting into it. I can feel it kind of tonight. It's not so much um, the manic side of it just yet. I mean, my head's kind of buzzing, and I'm having a hard time forming coherent thoughts, and there's kind of that internal muscular pressure almost. It feels like a lot of pressure from the inside. Tonight's gonna be one of those nights that the eye contact with the camera is not really gonna happen. I have been kind of mulling over for about the last hour whether or not I was going to film any of this. And I decided that for trying to think how to word it. I'm really losing words too. That's another kind of tell. I'm really struggling to focus on words right now. For demonstration's sake or education's sake, I figured that I would kind of try and film this. I'm talking more slowly than normal, definitely, and a lot more slowly than kind of what I would be during a mixed episode. This is definitely more of like a depressed episode type feel. That's kind of the downside with mixed episodes. They, or at least with mine, they have a very general kind of feel to it, but they're not all identical. And sometimes they go more on the manic side, and sometimes they're more on the depressed side. And this is definitely the more depressed side. Part of that might be that I was drinking relatively heavily earlier tonight. So this is the section of the vlog where I chastise myself and say do as I say, not as I do. Because if you know you're getting ready to cycle, and it's going to be kind of a hard cycle, the last thing I would suggest is kind of turning to drugs or alcohol at this point. Alcohol is a depressant, and it's I feel it probably more intensely than I normally would. But and again, this is kind of the part of the show where you hear the do as I said, as I do. I knew that tomorrow was going to be hard, and I was kind of struggling today anyway. And I decided that I would kind of throw caution to the wind, because I felt like I wanted to have fun. And while it was kind of fun at the moment, excuse me, I'm kind of paying for it right now. I know that it's going to pass, which is kind of the nice part about it. The nice part about the disorder is, that no matter what mood you're in, it'll pass. It might take a few weeks, a few months at the most, but it'll definitely pass. I don't like showing when I'm struggling. I can't stand it. I absolutely hate it. And I was considering not kind of making a vlog post update tonight. But I felt like to be really honest to what I'm trying to do with these videos, and to be honest with myself, this is something that maybe I should put out there and show. I should show what it at least kind of looks like or sounds like or feels like on my part. It's one thing to talk about kind of the struggles of the disorder when I'm not in a super hard place, and when I'm in a decent place to talk about it. It's a little bit harder when I'm in a bad place to talk about it. But being honest to the spirit of these videos is important to me. It's one of those times where it's kind of that feeling alone and isolated, and it's not a lot of fun. One thing that I'm going to try to do tonight is something I enjoy. There are magic drafts on YouTube of some of my favorite players drafting formats, and I'll probably watch some of that before I go to bed. I'll try and watch something funny. South Park, Big Mouth, Rick and Morty, just something I find amusing. I'm going to try and keep in high spirits, or at least resist kind of being dragged down into kind of a pit, because right now it definitely feels like it's dragging. It's like being stuck in tar. It's very hard to fight out of. Thankfully, I have work tomorrow, and that'll help some. One of the things I might try and do is go do some mathy shit, and hopefully that'll make me feel better. I've got Thor over here, and I'll probably cuddle him too. And do my best to be alone as infrequently as possible over the next few days, because tomorrow is kind of the big anniversary. So tomorrow is going to be very, very difficult, and then Tuesday will probably be pretty difficult too, the day after, especially with my car getting worked on and kind of the stress over that. It'll be nice to kind of have my car back. I will try and seek support from my support system as best I can, and I will continue pushing forward and making these videos, because it's important to me, and it helps me feel like I'm doing something productive and maybe helpful. I know how it feels for any of you kind of struggling with depression of any kind, unipolar, bipolar. It's tough. And for those of you who are bipolar, who have bipolar disorder 1 or 2, who are struggling with the depressive states, I want you to know that I'm right there with you. I feel it. It's rough. It sucks. It's hard. I'm going to struggle in the morning to want to get out of bed. I'm going to struggle to want to eat. I'm going to struggle to want to get a shower. I'm going to struggle to want to do a lot of things tomorrow. And even, tonight is a struggle to really want to do anything. But at the same time, wallowing in that is not going to help. It's kind of tough. Because these are the harder times with accepting kind of the disorder part of it. It's a little easier when it's manic, because even then, sometimes you're just angry, and sometimes it's easier to accept things when you're angry. but it's hard when you're feeling like this, and you know, it's a struggle because I don't have to normally look at kind of my own face, and this is one of the first times I've ever kind of seen my own face when I'm going through this, and I gotta tell you, it's pretty emotional. It's one thing to feel it, but it's another to see it. I'm used to feeling it, and I know that my friends and family are the ones who tend to see it, and you know, it's hard to see them be upset. It's definitely easier to see myself kind of struggle like this than it is to see them. So I can only imagine how it affects, you know, my mom and my sisters to kind of see me this way, and I hate that they have to go through that. And you know, I hate that any of you who have to go through it have to go through this, because I know, you know, how bad it feels, and how bad it sucks. Like I said, the good news is, you know, it's kind of guaranteed to pass. It's I'll get through this. Just remember that when you feel like this, keep taking your meds, yeah, as prescribed. If you have an as needed, take that too, because I will definitely be taking my hydroxyzine over the next few days. Sometimes there are people who can't do benzodiazepines, and they will prescribe antihistamines like a hydroxyzine or a Benadryl or something along that nature, to help with kind of the emotional overload or the anxiety. So I'll be excuse me, sorry, I'll be definitely taking those the next few days. So this is kind of one of the faces of it, and eventually I'll get a more manic side on here. For all of you guys who are keeping up with the videos and watching, I really appreciate it. I don't like making this about me. This is really a lot less about my journey than it is hopefully educating people who are curious, and putting a resource out there for people who are starting kind of their journey, so that they know some of the things that I've been through, and hopefully maybe they can gain some wisdom from that, or be able to kind of figure out if they're struggling with bipolar disorder, if they recognize some of the symptoms. Just remember that most people with depression are usually quiet about it. They won't talk to you, and they won't be honest. They won't cry audibly for help. And tomorrow when I'm at work, I'm going to do my best to not let it show. So check on your friends. Check on your friends and your family. Honestly check. Don't just do the cursory, are you okay? So thanks a lot for supporting me and kind of the channel. So this is going to be the end of this video, and I will see you guys next time.